At the end of pre-time skip One Piece, we have one of the greatest conclusions to any arc in all of anime, let alone one of the best war arcs ever, that being Marineford. But today, I'll be exploring the possibility of a bit fanfiction-y, but also I think pretty entertaining idea, that being what if Naruto arrived at Marineford. In this scenario, we will be having Naruto Uzumaki from the 4th Great Shinobi War, towards the end when he's about, to be fighting Kaguya, arriving in Marineford to save his best buddy Ace. Anyway, let's get into it. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you want more One Piece, X Naruto, or just anything, let me know in the comment section down below. But let's get started with today, with what if Naruto arrived at Marineford. Our story here actually begins during the 3-year time skip of between Naruto Part 1 and Naruto Shippuden. At one point during these 3 years, Naruto and Jiraiya would be entering a town on the port side of the Land of Fire, with Jiraiya having to get some information, if you know what I'm saying, from the woman's bathhouse. Jiraiya would leave Naruto for a time, with Naruto walking down the beach side, having pretty much nothing to do besides training on his own until Jiraiya decides to return. As Naruto is walking down the shoreline, he would see a strange man with an orange hat and goggles on top, with a weird purple marking on his back. Some kind of tattoo? Naruto would run over asking, "Hey, you okay?" Naruto would run over, grabbing the man from the back and pulling him up. He would realize that the guy looked almost unconscious, as Naruto started pushing on his chest, trying to see what was going on, if he had a heart attack or something, calling for anyone around to help. Suddenly, the guy would start spitting up water as he coughs water up all over the beach. "Oh, come on! I just got this jacket!" Naruto would wipe his sleeves on the sand. The man would pull himself up, coughing, as he successfully has removed the water from his lungs. His raspy voice, from almost drowning to death, would first say, "Thanks. If you don't mind me asking, would you mind telling me where I am?" Naruto would see that next to this strange guy, there was a small little boat with a almost broken in half sail on it. Naruto would ask if he had been sailing out on the ocean, with this guy turning and saying he was just returning from a trip that he had been recently to Wano. Wano? I have no idea where that is. Huh? Really? It's actually pretty close to here, I think. Well, honestly, I have no idea where I am. After that storm just rolled out of nowhere, I got pushed overboard. Honestly, it's a miracle I made it here alive. Well, thanks for the help. It must have been scary seeing a whitebeard pirate land here on this beach, huh? The man would look around, noticing all the people in town, and Naruto sitting next to him. Before he could say anything else, Naruto held his hand up, asking him first what his name is. With Ace being surprised, thinking no one in the entire world could not know who the second commander of the Whitebeard Pirates is. With him laughing and saying that if he tells him he can't be scared. Naruto would laugh at this at first, saying, "Scared of you? I could take you on easily." Ace would chuckle at this, saying that, "Kid, you remind me a lot of my younger brother." Once again, Ace would tell Naruto his name, introducing himself as Portgas D. Ace. After this, Naruto would have taken Ace back to his inn, where Jiraiya and him were staying in that town for the next couple of weeks, and would have promised Ace that he would have helped him fix his boat so he can go back to hunting down that Blackbeard guy. Anyway, Ace would spend quite a few weeks alongside Naruto and Jiraiya, watching Naruto train under the Sannin. To be honest, Ace would be pretty impressed with Naruto's weird powers, wondering what kind of Delford he has to be able to make clones and energy blasts like that, upon witnessing Naruto's Rasengan. After a while, Jiraiya would have found someone at the port town who'd be willing to help fix Ace's boat, repairing it for him so that he could continue on his way. But before he left, he would pull out a piece of paper, handing it to Naruto and saying that this piece of paper will guide him to him in a time of need. Telling Naruto that he should consider this a sign of trust, saying that that paper actually also displays my life force. Naruto would be ecstatic and thanking Ace for such a gift, still confused about the piece of paper, but he would take it symbolically, hugging Ace as Ace would wave goodbye to Naruto and Jiraiya as they themselves would continue on their journey. Naruto would in turn tuck the piece of paper into his froggy wallet, thanking Ace as Ace then sails off to continue his search for Blackbeard. It's at this point that we would have a time skip. That being until the point after the end of the 4th Great Shinobi War, the defeat of Kaguya, and Naruto versus Sasuke's decisive battle. Naruto had lost his right arm in battle, but luckily Tsunade had already made him a replacement using the Hashirama cells. Naruto was just about to go out and grab some Ichiraku ramen, trying to escape from his studies to become a Jonin before he has to go back. But hey, it's something he has to do in order to become the Hokage. As he's about to enter Ichiraku's, he would smell smoke. Naruto would open his wallet, finding a piece of paper. That's weird. It used to be a lot bigger. Why is it? He would notice, seeing that the slip of paper, which had once been about the size of 4 folds that could fit in his palm, had shrunken down to just a small corner, with little bits of ember and flame flicking off of it and making smoke just right now. Naruto's eyes would narrow as he remembers. He remembers what this piece of paper meant. He remembers what Ace had said to him that day. Naruto would take a deep breath, remembering the regret he had felt when he had been gone and hadn't been there when Jiraiya had died, when Neji had died. Ace was still alive. Naruto, without saying anything, would leave the village, making a shadow clone and having it go to Kakashi to let him know that he'll be leaving for a couple of days, saying he'll be back soon, saying he has some personal business to attend to. At that point, Naruto would start running, following the piece of paper as a guide like Ace had shown him, as he let the paper trail him along the way, eventually even to the ocean. Naruto would take a step onto the water using chakra as he runs across the ocean's surface, following it and needing more speed, as he whispers into his mental space, Kurama, entering into KCM 1. Naruto would be moving across the water at lightning fast speeds, the speed that was even able to surpass the Raikage. Meanwhile, over Marineford, Aokiji would have just freezed the giant waves that Whitebeard had used using his Gura Gura no Mi to start the initiation of the war. Ace's tears would run down his face, realizing here at the end that even though someone worthless like him with such bad blood in his veins, people in this world still wanted to save him. The war would continue on, Luffy, Buggy, Mr. 3, and all the others from Impel Down having arrived. Ace would be overjoyed and also saddened to see his brother fighting to save him. His crybaby younger brother, Luffy. He'd cry out Luffy's name, Oars, and everyone who was fighting in front of him being murdered by the Marines. Jinbei would throw Luffy being trapped in a column of water, holding onto a wooden broken off piece of mast from one of the Whitebeard allies' ships. As he lands, the water would spray everywhere. Luffy would throw the mast at the Admirals, using a Gama Gama no Stamp Gatling! Luffy would destroy the mast, shooting it at the Admirals before being blitzed away by Kizaru. Using a piece of his Pika Pika power, would blast Luffy into the side, telling him that he's not good enough to be here yet. As Luffy gets crashed into the house, Sengoku would order for Ace's execution to happen now. Luffy would hold his hand out, watching as Ace is about to be killed. But to everyone's surprise, suddenly we would hear a shout across the entire war. Wind style! Rasen Shuriken! Luffy would look up just in time to see 2 large shurikens made out of energy slam into the 2 holding the executioner's blades, cutting them in half and cutting through the scaffolding. As Ace's scaffolding begins to crumble, Sengoku would shout, "Who did that?" Ace would be shocked, looking down as he sees who saved him. His blonde hair flowing in the wind, this kid had to be about the same age as Luffy. As Luffy would look up, seeing him wearing a headband across his forehead, with a weird symbol on it, and an orange spiral on his jacket covering his back. The boy would shout out, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm here to save my friend!" Standing before all 3 Admirals. Whitebeard would smirk. Here comes another interesting brat. Naruto would pound his hand to his fist, saying that he'll never let anything like that happen again, saying for them to try and stop me as he starts walking forward towards Akainu. Akainu would pull his fist back, saying, "How dare some brat pirate like you tries to stop me? Stop justice!" Naruto's eye would twitch as Akainu's hand would turn to lava. Naruto would hold up his right hand, creating a magma-style Rasengan, and slamming the Rasengan into Akainu's fist. Oh, interesting, Kizaru would say, his facial expression not changing, as Akainu's face would be somewhat shocked, feeling the burning of the magma against his own fist. Even though he's using Haki, it's not repelling it. What kind of devil fruit power is this? Ace would yell out to Naruto to stay away, saying he doesn't have to get involved in this. Akainu would get blasted back into the rear wall behind Marineford, Sengoku being shocked, as Naruto's power of the Magma Rasengan overpowered Akainu. Akainu would luckily not be burned though, considering he's literally made of magma, but the look on his face would be Pretty interesting. At this point, Aokiji would decide to throw his chance into the ring, crossing his hands as he then says, Ice Age! Naruto would quickly make a shadow clone, blocking the ice attack, as the shadow clone would be frozen solid before disappearing into smoke. Naruto would grin, grabbing his stomach as he twists, saying, Alright Kurama, let's make this quick! As we hear the notorious sound of the Pika Pika Mono being activated, as a kick at the speed of light is about to hit Naruto with an axe blade kick down on his head. Suddenly, a cloak of golden light would emerge and cover Naruto's entire body, black markings growing on his arms, legs, and stomach, as a cloak would appear seemingly out of thin air. Naruto would open his eyes, having two slit-like pupils now, with Kurama clasping his hands together, accessing into Sage Mode. Naruto would sense this kick before he actually saw it, using Sage Mode in a similar fashion to how most would perceive him to be using Observation Haki. Naruto would easily outblitz and outspeed Kizaru's kick, dodging out of the way and predicting the attack before it even happened, reading Kizaru with his Sage Mode. Seeing the power and courage of this young boy would embolden the Whitebeard pirates, the band of pirates shrieking out to follow that blonde kid's lead, as they all scream, charging into the plaza to aid their new comrade in saving Ace. As the battle rages on, Naruto would use his hands, placing two fingers on his right and left hand in a cross-like shape. Suddenly, thousands of clones of this boy would appear on the battlefield, as Naruto's clones would easily be wiping out the lower level marine soldiers. Naruto in KCM mode combined with Sage mode would be holding off one of the Admirals, particularly Kizaru, who he was able to match speed with. Whitebeard in his head would be very impressed by this new stranger, this addition who had come to save Ace. But he wouldn't say that out loud. No, instead he would take the opportunity to charge forward, taking his battle with Akainu more seriously, as Akainu would burn his insides just like their original fight in canon, causing Ace to be tormented. At this point, Ivankov alongside Inazuma would start their plan, with Aokiji being the only one left and being forced into a battle against Marco. It would only be Sengoku, the warlords, and Garp defending against Ace, while Naruto was holding off Kizaru. They would quickly use the plan to make the bridge, as Luffy would make his way up the bridge to save his brother, just like in the original timeline. Naruto would very quickly realize that his regular attacks were completely unable to harm Kizaru, as he throws a punch and it goes right through his body, realizing as Kizaru says that he's actually made of light. Naruto would grin, saying he shouldn't sound so cocky when he says that, as Naruto's pigments around his eyes would glow a darker orange, absorbing more nature energy and creating a Sage-style Rasengan. Filling this Rasengan with Sage energy, or nature energy from Naruto, he would actually be able to hit Kizaru. Because Naruto has Yin and Yang release, which is giving him the creation of all things technique, Naruto would be able to use Asura's power of the Sun Seal, which had been absorbed into his body, to actually create a new style of Rasengan, a light style Rasengan. Able to hit light with light, that's how refraction works by the way, he would actually be able to hit Kizaru, slamming him into the ground and pummeling him with shadow clones using this light ball style Rasengan. Honestly, I think this is the only way Naruto will be able to do any damage to the Admirals without having Haki, because as you know in One Piece, in order to damage Devil Fruit users like Logia, you have to have Haki. Or, as was shown in Skypiea, which is where I'm taking this idea from, as long as you have some sort of ability that can directly counter a Logia, as in rubber neutralizing lightning, as Enel displayed for us there, Naruto would be able to use some other form of elemental energy to be able to conquer the elemental power of the Admirals. So I think with Naruto's battle IQ, it would be entirely possible for him to create a Rasengan like this during the battle, as he had already seen how his Magma-style Rasengan was able to directly counter Akainu's Magma himself. Basically, I'm saying fight fire with fire. That's how Naruto's going to have to fight here if he's going to be able to do any damage to any of the marine forces who are able to use elemental Logia powers. I also think this really displays the strength of chakra from Naruto very well, in that chakra is very fluid and flexible, and that one shinobi could have a variety of jutsu that could counter other shinobi. The fluidity of Naruto's skills is something that the world of One Piece isn't exactly built for, with more people having a honed and trained singular power, like Aokiji being able to completely master the ability of his ice, instead of having a wide range of different abilities like Naruto does. Luffy would punch Garp in the face, sprawling Garp to the ground as everyone calls out Vice Admiral, with Luffy having broken through and now using the key he had been given to actually free Ace. This is when Sengoku would start growing in size into his gold Buddha form, causing the scaffolding to completely collapse. This time, even though Mr. 3 was already up there, he would be completely unneeded because Kizaru would be so distracted in his battle against Naruto, he wouldn't have time to blast the key and destroy it that Boa Hancock had given to Luffy. And so Luffy would be able to actually free Ace using his Calm of Fire, and trapping Luffy, and Luffy grabbing, taking Mr. 3 with him, as Sengoku's punch would miss, breaking into the ground, with Luffy, Ace, and Mr. 3 escaping through Ace's flames as they get sent back out into the plaza. From here, things seem to run as normal until the point where the Whitebeard pirates have to retreat, with Whitebeard still being taken out and ordering his crew to escape, his sons to flee, and live and make it back to the new world. Ace and everyone else would follow this command at first, Ace telling Naruto to come with him and they'll sort everything out later. Naruto would break away from his battle with Borsalino, using the substitution jutsu to escape. As everyone's fleeing from Marineford, Ace would hear Akainu's comments saying that Whitebeard's nothing but a coward, a second fiddle to Roger, someone who was never able to become the king of the pirates. Naruto would sense as Ace turns, sensing the danger and Akainu's malice. As Akainu tells Ace that he's going to kill the son of Dragon first, he would jump leaping forward towards Luffy, who was bending to pick up Ace's vivre card. Ace would try to get there in time, but would be pulled back by one of Naruto's shadow clones before he can transform into flames and block the punch from Luffy. Lava style, Rasen Shuriken! Just as in the original timeline where Ace had a hole blown through him with magma burning fire, Naruto would have severed Akainu's arm using a lava-style Rasen Shuriken, the same Rasen Shuriken that had the same enough power to cut down the entire chakra tree that Madara had planted back during the 4th Great Shinobi War. Akainu's arm would de-transform from magma back into flesh as blood would spurt out from it, as Akainu would fall to his knees. Naruto would quickly run in, kicking Akainu and sending him sprawling across the dirt, as Ace would beg Naruto, thanking him for saving his brother for him. Whitebeard would be getting blasted by Kizaru here, as he's still trying to draw the attention from all the Navy soldiers to let his children escape. At this point, I genuinely think Naruto would leave, hopping on the ocean and running away, as the Navy would be shocked that a Devil Fruit user is able to run on water. Luffy would thank Naruto for saving his brother and helping them, as Luffy and Ace would both be exhausted, with Luffy running out of energy from the energy hormone, and both of them being carried onto one of Whitebeard's ships. Akainu would try and slaughter Whitebeard, as the rest of the events from Marineford pretty much take place. With Whitebeard's death and Blackbeard's arrival, the Navy would continue splitting up their forces, with half of them, Sengoku and Garp, taking on the now Gura no Mi enhanced Blackbeard, while the rest of the fodder Navy soldiers along with Akainu and Aokiji would try and take on the rest of the Marines. I truly believe that Shanks would not have stepped in here. And that's not because Shanks wouldn't have arrived. I do think he would have arrived to stop the war from all the bloodshed, but I think Kobe wouldn't have said what he said to Akainu, as he said in the war, because Ace is still alive, and so the Marines haven't accomplished their goal, which was to kill Ace, and now Whitebeard's dead, so they still need to kill Ace in order to save face, and also the fact that he's the son of Roger. So there's all sorts of problems that come from Naruto saving him, but for the sake of things, let's say Shanks arrives, and instead of defending Kobe, he would pick up Akainu's arm, laughing as he looks at his own missing arm, throwing it to Akainu and asking if he needs a hand. But anyway, I do think Naruto's events inside the War of Marineford as an isolated event would definitely result in Ace being saved, alongside Whitebeard still dying, just because I don't think Naruto would go out of his way to save anyone but Ace, but I do think he would be able to save him. I don't know if he would actually go out of his way to try and kill everyone, because if he really wanted to just massacre the Marines, he could just throw like a ton of Bijou Dama and just blast the entire island and kill all of the fodder Marines. But to be completely honest, a good Naruto from the end of Shippuden is never going to do that. So I'll call it here with him heading back to the Leaf Village without being followed, and would now have a completely restored vivre card of Ace having recovered. Naruto would finally make it back to Ichiraku, with seawater splashed all over him, being soaked, as he sits down at the counter and orders, "1 konkotsu for me please, with extra slices of pork." And that's where I'm going to be calling it. What do you guys think would happen if Naruto Uzumaki arrived in Marineford? Do you think his presence would actually change anything within the war, or do you think he really wouldn't be able to do anything against the Admirals? Or, let's just say, even anything against any of the Vice Admirals, whatever side you lean to in the anime debate. And for those of you who are still here and are still mad about this, you guys should know that Kishimoto and Oda are actually pretty good friends, and that Naruto was actually going to be the name of Sanji in One Piece before Oda had read Kishimoto's manga. So there's no real point of fighting, but if you really want to argue in the comments, I'm not going to stop you. Just keep things nice down there. I know how you One Piece and Naruto fans all get. Anyway, thank you again, and I hope you all agree this is probably a better ending to Naruto than Boruto was. Signing off, and sayonara. Oh, and for those of you wondering, yeah, I think Naruto would probably cut Blackbeard in half. What is he going to do against a Rasen Shuriken when he can't nullify that? His body takes in all attacks. He's dead!